Hi again, welcome back to part 3 of my professional secrets. I'm continuing the demonstration for the painting called Cafe Society. I'll be adding on layers of paint and building up the textures. The flowers I do in many layers. I can start off with reds, just lay them in with touches. I don't have to know how to paint flowers. I have the outlines, and I'm doing something very impressionistic. The layers of the colors will show through. So I'm now laying in little bits of red. I can always make corrections with white and then paint over the white. I can change my color values as I go along and add in touches of green. I don't want too much green, so I use a very dark brown as a base and then add in the bright greens later. When I've more or less finished, I can go over with a sponge using black, and that will give a nice free look to the little dots. So now I'm going into the landscape that you can see through the window, and I very lightly lay in a wash of a light ochre. There is a texture under the paint that will eventually give it that sort of three-dimensional look. I'm laying in a very light, pale mauvey blue for the water, which you can see through the flowers. And I've taken a little bit of blue and a little bit of pink, and then I darken it as I go along. It will also be good for the sky and for the water under the bridge. No. So I want to lay in a tree and foliage, and the easiest way to do it, you probably know about it, is using a sponge and with a little bit of yellow and blue and black and brown. I can mix the colors and just press them in all over the tree. I use light areas and dark areas, and the main thing is that the contour of the tree will be recognizable. So I'm using different grades of color. Now using my brush, I can paint in the local colors and the shapes in a rather diluted paint. I go over the jacket with blue, a little black. I'm putting a little orange color on the back of the lady's shirt, which has a texture of lace. I'm laying in a gold tulip type paint, thin down, for the tablecloths. Later I will darken it, but for the first layer, it's a very nice paint to use. The next stage is going to be laying in of gold leaf on the vase of the flowers. So I put on some glue that's for gold leaf, let it dry a bit, and then pick up my very fine leaves with a piece of cardboard. It's important that you don't touch the leaves because they really stick to your fingers. So I lay it in very gently, one over the other, and when they're dry I can rub off the excess gold. It's important to have another area that will have the same gold, so I put it on a little bit on the teapot. And then I will see how I will continue to paint the vase to make it three-dimensional. For the background, I'm trying to use a color that will blend in with the figures, like their faces will be a very similar color to the background walls, which is a kind of a flesh color or pale orange. I'm putting the second layer on the ceiling to darken it and yet let the other colors peep through from behind. And that gives you kind of a three-dimensional look. Sometimes it'll be a bit darker. I'm using black, I'm using dark brown, and eventually I know I'm going to go over that to lighten some of the areas. I'm going to start laying in the colors for the hair. I'll use Indian brown and some black and red. I'm not going to make it all one color. I wanted to make it a little bit three-dimensional. And when I finish that, then I'll go on and lay the color over the lace. I'm going to be starting with a orangey color, and then I will lay colors over that. Using a very fine brush, I'm painting the mouth. I'll go over the shapes of the eyes, basically the eyelashes, and I'm not going to make it too realistic. It's a fantasy painting, so we're not doing real portraits here. It's nice to put in little decorative points of gold or points of black. It adds to the ornamental look of the painting.